This is gonna take forever. What's going on, guys? This video is a bit overdue, to say the least, seeing as I haven't shown you anything that's been going on around here this spring. But we've had a bunch of new viewers come in from all the shorts and the reels and the Instagram and TikTok. All that stuff is kind of blown up, to be honest with you. People seem to love the backyard putting green, so I figured today we're gonna give you a little 2-week update on the sand level that I did. If you don't follow me, I had a big old issue with my Bermuda grass putting green over this winter, had a big dead spot. So I ended up plugging and sand leveling, doing a heavy sand level, not just a top dress. So I'll show you an update on that. I think it's been like 2 weeks since I did that. We'll check that out and see how it's doing. And then I gotta go over to the bent grass putting green. Yes, I have 2 different putting greens in my backyard. So we gotta put a mow on that. I got a new mower. Haven't shown y'all that either. So we got a lot to go through today, which should be pretty fun. So I'm glad to have you here. Let's get to it. I was gonna try to get a little bit of energy from our black raspberry bushes, but it looks like the girls have combed through here. Crazy that these things are already blooming in, what is it, almost June? Up in New York, we usually expect them around July 4th, maybe a little bit later, but I'm not complaining. Just look at these vines it's creating. I don't even know if you'd call it a vine, but it's trying to get up to the arbor over here. Look at this thing. I'm 5'11". Alrighty, now for the information you really care about. How's the green looking after 2 weeks sand level? Boom. Still rough, still rough. It's definitely still coming back. This part that you're looking at was where the dead spot was, and what happened there was water drains off of the concrete patio and it pooled right there. So hopefully with adding the sand, that's going to help in the future, but it's definitely a rough spot. And I also used de-icer this winter. I don't know if that contributed to it, but I doubt it. So the tough areas are obviously right there and then also down here, but as you can see, the plugs that I took out are doing really well. So if you didn't see my video on TikTok or the short that I made, what I used was called the Pro Plugger. It does exactly what it says. It plugs Bermuda grass. You can use it for planting bulbs. I literally just took good grass from over here, take it and transplant it. And so I put a whole bunch of these in, and they're doing really well. It helps that it's been 80 and raining a ton. We've had crazy storms, hot, and we're getting a classic southern spring here where it's just hot and rainy, which is great for Bermuda grass. You can see I've been working on the edging around this just to create the shape that I want, and I've been mowing it with the Fisker's reel mower. So you can see that it's probably at 3/4 inch. I didn't want it to get too crazy high, so I wouldn't be able to break out the greens mower when I wanted to. So I've just been maintaining it at probably 3/4 inch so far. And I get a lot of questions about what type of sand I use. I feel like that's like the #1 question that people ask whenever they're sand dressing or top dressing or sand leveling anything. And I used to buy the stuff from Home Depot, like just the kids play sand. But then I realized that a landscape supplier nearby has sand, and it's masonry sand. And I got a whole truckload of it for, I think, $30. When 3 bags, which amounts to like 2 wheelbarrow loads, was, I think, $15 or something like that. So it's just crazy value difference there. And even after leveling the whole Bermuda green, I had leftovers, so I tossed them on the bent grass as well, and then still had leftovers. So I just put the pile back here and I can grab it whenever I need it, because if you're gonna have these grasses, you're gonna need it for sure. It's pretty good consistency. And having it out here, it'll dry quicker, and having quick access to it has been really amazing. And I made that level just to be able to do it a little bit quicker. I have a leveling rake, but that's double the size, so it got the job done quicker and made for a more even surface since it covers more space and flattens it out. And I was telling y'all about the plugs that I took from over in the good grass. You can kind of see it. They're really filling in quickly. And for anybody who doesn't know, this is Bermuda grass, and it spreads by rhizomes and stolons, which means it spreads above ground and underground. You don't need to reseed things. It'll spread out on its own. Clover kind of does that as well. The bent grass does it well. It's why it's called creeping bent grass. But so that's why I'm able to plug from this spot, put it over there, and not seed anything. Actually, can't even do that with this grass because it's a hybrid, meaning it was genetically modified and it doesn't reproduce on its own, so there's no seeds for this type of grass. And you can just tell it's been a perfect spring because just look at all these plants just pop in. We got the lilies over there. These are yarrows, which are probably my favorite plant, but that thing is blown up. I hope it doesn't shade out too much of the Bermuda. Over here, we got our raised beds with some wildflowers down there. My neighbor hooked me up with some seeds. This is the first time I've ever grown corn, and look at it. It's already starting to pop up in rows. Enough plant talk though, we gotta do some mowing. Alrighty, so this is my John Deere greens mower. This is the machine that allows me to cut it down wicked short, and it is a John Deere 180C. So for anybody who's never had any experience with a real mower, the way it works is these blades turn, and there's a thing called a bed knife that's right along the bottom, and they turn and pinch the blades of grass between the blades there and the bed knife and create a scissor effect. Now this is different from your normal rotary mower because those spin in a circle and kind of just chop it, and there's a suction effect that sucks the grass up and then whoosh, rips it. So this is a much cleaner and healthier cut for the grass, and the bed knife is super thin, so you can get really low to the ground and get those precision cuts. Right now I'm cutting at about 1/4 of an inch, 0.25, and what regulation golf courses are usually at is like 0.125, just under 1/8 of an inch I believe, which for bent grass in the south is really good. Our local golf course has a bent grass green that they were just playing around with during the winter, and he said he got it down to 0.18 I think. So I'm not that far off from the golf courses. I'm feeling pretty proud of this. So let's cut this down. There's how long it was. That's a pretty decent haul right there. There's a lot of grass on there. You can see how small and fine the pieces are. But bent grass is so soft. So the other benefit to a greens mower like that is that the back wheel that's turning the mower and pushing it and propelling it is also a roller. So it's about 220 pounds. So when you go over this, it helps flatten it and it makes it a better putting surface. It also pushes these blades of grass down, so when you putt, it can roll over it a lot easier. So this has been the green that we've been using for the last couple months. We come out here and we putt and we chip every single day. It's been really awesome, but I'm nervous about the summer heat here in Tennessee. The humidity really is what's killer. It's gonna take a lot of maintenance and fungicides to keep this alive, so my hopes are very low, which is why I'm starting to get the Bermuda grass growing, because its season's heating up. It's a warm season grass. That's a cool season grass. I love the bent grass so much. So I'm gonna try my best to keep it alive. I'm gonna feed it some micronutrients, slow down on the nitrogen, and really just reach out to people who are smarter than me, and they can tell me what to do. But this green definitely sits in the best part of the yard. You got it surrounded by plants, and it's a nice little cozy area. You can sit up on the porch and watch the other people putt. We love spending this time of day out here, especially checking out each day a new flower blooms. We got the daisies going right now. Those lilies just popped a couple days ago. Still have a few yet to go. So the bent is set for tonight. I'm probably gonna water it in the morning. Might throw some micronutrients out on it because that's been actually helping. I know people say that's snake oil, but I always get a green up right after, so I'm gonna give that a go. Now for the Bermuda. Y'all want an update? Here it is. It needs a mow. Now the problem with mowing the Bermuda is that after the sand level and everything, I can't just mow at the same height that I'm mowing the bent grass. I think I'm at 1/4 of an inch there. I need to move this thing up to at least 1/2 an inch, maybe a little bit higher, closer to 3/4 inch. I've been mowing it with the manual reel mower, the Fiskars, at 3/4 inch, so I could go a little bit lower I want to. The more I mow, the more it'll spread out and fill in, push itself sideways. So I want to get this thing set up for maybe about 1/2 inch because I won't be mowing the bent for a while just because of how hot it's about to be. and we're not getting any rain anytime soon, so I can plan on keeping this at a higher setting for a little bit while I do that. So these things aren't your normal mowers where you can just lift it up with a lever. We're gonna have to go get some wrenches and do a little bit more complicated work in order to raise this up to about a 1/2 inch. Well, I was about to show you guys how I'm gonna raise the height of cut on my mower, but my daughter asked me to go play some golf, so obviously that takes the cake. So let me show you how I'm gonna raise this greens mower up to a 1/2 inch. All right, so I got all my tools. I got a measuring tape, this, 1/2 inch socket on there. And then this is my measuring device in order to figure out the spacing. And then a straight edge. This is very much so the redneck version. So yeah, step 1 is to tilt your mower back. So just a quick word of wisdom. Don't leave your mower tilted back for too long. All the fuel and oil in there will get mixed up and it'll absolutely destroy your engine. Ask me how I know. So while we're down here, I'll give you a good view of the cutting system. So like I said, there's a bed knife. That's what this is. You can see how thin it is, and that's how you get the good cut. That's what runs against the ground. And then the scissor effect happens when these blades collide, like that. So this front part right here is called the roller. I have a grooved roller. You can see the grooves in it. They also make ones that are fully solid all the way across, smooth rollers. And what this does is this actually does a couple things. It sets the height adjustment, because you raise and lower this to control the height of the entire blade. It also holds this entire thing level. I mean, this is a big beast. This is not a light piece of material. It levels the entire mower and makes sure that it stays flat, which is imperative for a green. It also kind of prepares the grass before you roll over it. So earlier when you saw it, it didn't have these wheels on it. These actually come off, and these are just strictly for transporting it. Let's test it to see if it's cutting paper. What you do is you act like a piece of grass. Stick it up there. Perfect. See that? That's exactly what you want. All right, let's adjust this height so we can do a cut in the morning. All right, so for starters, we're gonna loosen this bolt. All that does is free up this to allow it to move up and down. This is what's gonna raise and lower this roller. We're gonna use this to measure the distance between the bed knife and the ground. That's what determines the height of the cut. The rear roller is gonna sit right here, and then this front roller is gonna sit right here. And then the distance from this to the bed knife will be the height of the cut. So the way that works is you set this first. I'm gonna put this at a 1/2 inch, whatever it is. There we go, that's at 1/2 inch. It's the next morning, mower's set at the right height, and we are about to get cutting. Asher's found his little spot in the sun there that he's happy with, so he's gonna have to move. But first, before we start doing any mowing, we're gonna have to water the bent grass because it's looking a little bit rough. It's looking dry, and I know it needs it, so let's go over in there and do that. Well, that makes me want to burn my whole house down. So the way I water is I usually will put it one way for 5 to 7 minutes, and then I'll put it the other way, make a little X out of it, and do it for 5 to 7 minutes the other way. We'll see how fast this thing will green out. All right, got it all mowed up. Had a little camera difficulty, so I had to switch over to the phone. But let's see how much we got in the basket. Oh, it's heavy. Bermuda is a lot thicker than bent grass. That's like 1/4 as much as the bent grass, but it's probably 2 times as heavy. Now, as you can see, there's a lot of sand in there, which is not great for my mower. I'm definitely gonna have to end up backlapping it, and that wears it down a lot faster, but it's a necessary evil for the situation that is. Now here's the benefit. This cut is so much nicer than with the manual. You can see all the blades got cut right over here where I didn't get, because I didn't go that close to the edge, because I was thinking about making a little fringe around the outside. Kind of indicates where I didn't go. so then I can analyze where I did go, and it is still super bumpy in there, which is sad. Now one day I'm definitely going to do a video on bent grass versus Bermuda grass, putting greens, all that stuff for the homeowner. Obviously I'm not going to be talking to like groundskeepers and stuff. They know way more than me. I'm talking to folks who want to do exactly what I'm doing. And I'll tell you what, Bermuda is turning into a chore. It's definitely difficult. There's benefits to it, but there are definitely cons, as you can see. But the sprigs or the plugs or whatever you want to call it, they're definitely coming in nicely. And that's a beautiful part of it, is that it fills in on its own. But it's going to take a while. Honestly, it's just difficult to do this all from sod. Going from seed is so much easier. Look, it just came outside. Nice shirt. There you go. There's one. Right on that bush. Right here. Oh yeah, those look good. Well, it's the end of the video, but I want you guys to like and subscribe and follow along in the progress of this, because I know it doesn't look great now, but I promise you this will be a putting green at one point or another. It's gonna take some hard work and dedication, but that's one thing I'm not short on when it comes to backyard projects. All right, y'all, we'll see you on the next one.